Hello, everybody. It is Curiosity, and we are finally back from Bandai Card Fest from this weekend in Orlando. What can I say? It was so much fun to be there. I was spectating this year. I did not get my invite, but I did definitely want to go. I wanted to be able to still play in some of the side events. I wanted to still experience the Games Fest itself, and it was so much fun. It was so fun to see all the big installments there. Like, they had basically every single installment just out. Digimon had a huge section. Actually, I think it had two like really big kind of Digimon sections, like the Liberators section and then the regular Digimon section. One Piece had its own little corner with all of the original art drawings for the manga panels. Oh, that was actually really cool to see. I really enjoyed that. Gundam had its own section and shop. It was so cool, and you could like actually register to build your own Gundam. And of course, we had the shops that we could like pick up some stuff and some sleeves or some memory boosters and a bunch of cool little things. So it was so exciting. I actually got my JJK Tamagotchis this year, so I'm very happy about that. But overall, it was super amazing. For everybody who was able to find me, or I was able to find, or came up and said hi, I appreciate all of you so much. It was such a nice time to like meet you or see you again for those that I saw last year, and like actually be able to hang out and chit chat a bit and get to know you guys a bit more. So for all of you that were there, that were able to find me, thank you for finding me. Thank you for saying hi. I appreciate it so much. And for those that maybe I didn't even get to, like, we didn't end up running into each other, I better see you next year for sure. Okay. I'll have to actually plan a formal, like, I'll pick a time slot and be like, hey, meet me here. And I won't be locked into 3v3s or anything like that. Also, of course, I got to shout out DigiPanda for finding me and hanging out with me, as well as Risu for coming in clutch in my final 3v3. Oh, so amazing. I appreciate you so much. You literally came in clutch. You were playing my Syndrome deck, and I'm so glad to see that you were having fun with it the other day too on stream. So I look forward to seeing where you kind of tinker with it and where it goes, because it is kind of squirrels. So there you go. But the reason why we're here right now is for, of course, the top 32 deck lists from Nats. So without further ado, why don't we jump on in? But first of all, we had 336 players overall. Saturday, I believe, was 9 rounds of Swiss. And then basically they did a top 32 cut. And it was essentially, once you lost, you were out. You were done. There was no like recovering back. There was no like keep playing in the event, see if you can get like top 16. It was none of that. It was like, if you're out, you're out. So it was super cutthroat on Sunday, which was crazy to like to hear and see. So yeah, it was very cool. But anyhow, so that was what happened there. And congratulations to everybody in the top 32. It is so difficult to get there, especially when you're up against so many different players. So yeah, like, good stuff. Everybody here worked so hard to get where they are, and you deserve every amount of celebrations that are to come your way and all the rewards. I actually saw some of the like the Vmon cards, and they look so cool. They look so cool. And the trophy as well, because I believe Onion has already like shared everything, or Momin shared everything, and it's on YouTube. I'll have to add the link below. I believe it was Momin, so definitely check that out when you can, which is pretty cool. But let's jump into the winning deck. The one, the only, 7 Great Demon Lords. Da-da-da. So, I think I slept on this. I didn't even think 7 Great Demon Lords was going to top. I knew 7 Great Demon Lords was a strong deck. I didn't realize how strong it was in this format. So we've been seeing, when we've been doing some deck coverages and these top coverages, we have been seeing a lot of Mirage, a lot of purple hybrids starting to creep in there towards the end before Nats. I didn't realize 7 Great Demon Lords was going to just like take it all. So congratulations, Onion, for like getting first place, truly. That is such a challenge to do and to climb up that long to get there. So bravo to you and your deck list. It is a 7 Great Demons Lords deck, so it does what it does. I love the tech option of the Shine Gray Ruin Road. That can be such a great body to Digivolve on top of your level 6s to really kind of prevent your opponent from doing anything, especially if they have no bodies on the field. It's a challenge to force play something that's going to pass turn just to get the minus 5k on your opponent's board kind of thing, if that makes sense. So, for example, if your opponent's playing a Shine Gray Ruin mode and you have no bodies on the field, you're kind of forced to play a level 5 or a level 4 if it has enough DP, which most level 4s don't have 6,000 DP. If there are any, let me know. I think most are 4 or 5, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look into it. But essentially, you'd be forcing your opponent with a Shine Gray Ruin mode, you'd be forcing your opponent to play out a level 5 in order to even have some sort of viability on the field. So the Shine Gray Ruin mode is great at stopping smaller bodies and stopping kind of momentum to climb up for your opponent. So very good tech choice in there to be running. I could see that the Creepymon is at 4. This is such a strong card with what it does too. Even just having blocker is so great. The Belfmon is very cool to have in there too, because you can kind of gain sort of an immunity, which is really nice. And of course, the Shoto sneaking in here, giving everything basically blocker on your opponent's turn. So it really sets up nicely for kind of keeping your bodies from, you know, not necessarily being swung into, but rather giving you some security protection while you're fishing for that Agudamon. And that is awesome to see. And you can also see the Digimon Emperor getting put to work in a deck like this as well, causing, again, same thing, kind of like the Ruin mode in essentially not letting those smaller bodies get out, but ensuring that your opponent is losing memory just by pushing out. So very, very cool. Awesome job here. This is a strong deck. That's what it is. It managed to push through a lot of different option cards, and I'm curious to see what the matches were for Onion to get to this point in time. So Onion, congratulations on your first place champion win to now to Worlds. I believe you're going to Worlds, which is amazing. Holy, crazy cool. Congratulations. Super awesome. In second place, we have Moment. I believe Moment has the Levia X deck on YouTube, so I will definitely link that below for you guys so you can check it out. I watched this match of it was Moment, and he was holding that spot for a while actually. But Moment's matchup was really cool to open up the first round on that Sunday, which was super cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, where's the Dobermons? Where's the Dobermons? I was like, I don't know who I was cheering for at that point. It was Yellow Hybrid versus the Leviamon deck. And yeah, it was intense. It was really intense. Very good use of the floodgates kind of sitting in here as well to really kind of push your opponent to not be able to do much or not be able to at least gain much. Seeing the Lopmon X actually be used in the deck was really cool as well. I believe Moment actually played it out at one point, and it kind of like did a really good job on protecting some of the Digimon with a little bit more power and giving it that plus 3,000 for the turn. So that was actually really cool to see used in action, that it wasn't necessarily Digivolved off of a Lopmon. So I found that was really cool. Having the Gabumon X to get those Digivolves and get the searching is always great too. Because you're going to have a lot of access to your X antibodies that way with the Gabu search engine, which is cool. The Octomon was really cool to see as well. I believe this was for some of the inheritable effects when you get to gain a memory, because if an effect plays an opponent's Digimon, you're getting that out, which is really cool to have there as well. I know that Moment goes into a much more detailed breakdown, so if you do want to check out that breakdown and that thought process, definitely check out the video. Again, I will leave it below for sure. We can see the use of scrambles in here as well, and of course the Biting Crush and 7th Lightning, which is pretty cool. So, and again, you also see the tech choice of Ruin mode, We're probably going to see a lot of ruin modes in these because any purple or yellow deck is probably running a ruin mode. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But congratulations, Moment, on that runner-up place. You earned it. So well done. In third place, we have Super Duper Roach with a purple hybrid. So now we're starting to see that purple hybrid come through again. I have to play more against it. I've played against a couple purple hybrids, but they all... How do I explain this? The purple hybrids all run so different from each other. So there's not really like a standard like, yes, this is purple hybrid. So it's very cool to see these different kind of choices in here to maybe not necessarily just search, but to gain memory, to gain control of the board, and to essentially get your opponent out of the field as best as possible. But what we do know about purple hybrid that does have a lot of is the Duskmon and Velgramon pairing together. Man, having your card of your Digimon change colors for the entire turn is tough to deal with. It is so annoying to deal with because then you can't really Digivolve off of it if it's blue for the turn and your card is supposed to be red. So that is very cool. And then seeing the Genkumon in there, which does a good job of giving rush and on-playing effects. So a lot of people are starting to pull that in as well. But the big piece is the Jack Raid and filling up the trash, getting those Jack Raids to fire off and gaining the memory, and having just a ton of memory to work with to kind of get your win conditions going. So very, very cool to see how this kind of works. And we can see the Uko engines in here as well, which is pretty neat. So that is that. So congratulations to Super Duper Roach for your third place. And in fourth place, we have Cherries with Fenril. So we can see these purples are taking over, which is very funny because I think many of us thought it was going to be blue. And it wasn't blue. It was purple. So we can see that this Fenrir has the Dexdoru hiding in here as well. And of course the Lugamon at the bottom. You can't go without it. It is a very strong rookie lineup for the Lugamons, as well as some of the Uko running in there on top of it. You got your beautiful searchers of Tyrannomon, so you can have your little dinosaurs in there too for your level 4s, which is pretty neat. And then slowly phasing into that Digivolving and kind of DNA abilities there that go off, which is pretty neat. Yeah, very cool. It is a very simple deck. There's not much complicated in scrolling wise there. Very awesome. It's a good deck. So we could already see, and again, congrats Cherries for that, but already we know that all of these are purple, but they're so different from one another. So our top 4 were very, very different from one another, even though they were all purple, which is pretty cool. In our top 8, I hope I don't pronounce this incorrectly, we have Young Non with a Mirage deck. So this is our first Mirage deck showing up on our card lists here. Woohoo! I really thought Mirage was going to take it. That's just me thinking, like, I've faced so many Mirage players, and then all of a sudden, it wasn't. But Mirage is such a strong deck, especially paired with that Hexablow. Holy, there is not a lot you can do against Mirage when it starts going. If they find what they need very fast, which usually they do, it is very hard to stop the Mirages from doing what they need, and also having those extra pieces in there, such as the Gabumon Bond as a tech choice and the Vikemon Ace to de-Digivolve your opponents. It does a really good job at being a little bit more aggressive and stopping your opponent from building up fast enough, and then still being like, oh, I'm going to gain memory because you added that back to your hand. So very, very strong. And we can see that the floodgates are definitely here for sure with Madoki and, of course, I always say this wrong, Sayakomon, basically reducing Digievolution costs don't happen. So are they running the Lunamon cycle too? What the heck? Oh my gosh. This is very fun because I learned that you could like stack it under itself and it could just gain itself memory, which is pretty cool. So that is a crazy card to have in there as well, but it seems like Mirages are using it to their advantage to gain that memory and keep going. So congrats there, Youngnang, for your Mirage deck. And then we see Antics with a yellow based, or a yellow engine, I should say, of Purple Hybrid. So this is very different from our last Purple Hybrid that we just looked at. We could see this is running kind of the more tamer heavy styled yellow engine based of Purple Hybrid. We have the Uko engine, of course, in there, which is always such a strong tech choice. There's a Syndromon in here, which is pretty cool. I didn't even think Syndromon would go into it, but that makes this deck extra interesting. Play out a token, a minus 6,000 DP plus overclock. That's not a bad endgame strategy there. I'm curious to see how that played out in this deck and against the matches. Shadow Seraphie is a really great card that a lot of people are starting to see that value in there of de-digivolving up to any number, but up to 3. And then minus DPing something on their field. It is a very strong card too. You've also got your Jack Raids in here and a couple other tech choices like Death X and Venusmon at 2 to prevent people from swinging. So this yellow hybrid deck really stops, well, purple yellow hybrid, I should say, really stops your opponent from having much to do on their turn. It really slows them down and gives you a chance to really push through and swing through. So congrats there, Antics, for your yellow-based purple hybrid deck. We have another Mirage deck with Nick here. Nick Hutchins, congratulations. This one is running a lot more of the traditional line you could see here with a couple little changes in here. But not so many aces that you're sitting with, at least, which is pretty cool. So again, Mirage is very strong. You got the Zudomon ace instead of the Vikemon ace, and you have the Imperial Paladin mode instead of the Gabubon. So there are some changes here that do make a difference depending on your playstyle and where you want to go. Floodgates, having those out to not let them gain memory, always good to have. And of course, the on-play effects of forcing people to draw cards is always a good choice to have in a Mirage deck. So congratulations, Nick Hutchins, on your Mirage deck. Spark, you have Levia in your top 8, which is so cool. Almost kind of similar, but also very different for Levia decks as well. The option cards kind of seems very similar. But the lineup in the, especially like the level 5s, we can see that's the Dragomon here, as well as the Deltamon, which I don't think I've seen in previous Levia decks yet. Maybe I've seen it once or twice, but like I just haven't seen it. But we can see the Lopmon here again, which seems to be a pretty interesting card to have in here. So curious to see how that Lopmon actually shows up, if it does show up in some other decks we'll look at today too. So awesome sauce there, Spark. Very well done and congratulations. Next up in our top 16, we have GT Gaming with another Leviamon X, but this is running a Lord Nightmon engine. So again, there's so many different ways to play purple. Even if you're like, yeah, I'm running a Leviamon deck, but I have the Lord Nightmon engine in here, so it's actually even more broken. Very, very, very awesome to see how these decks sort of change. We can see the Garurumon X in here as well, which is such a good card if you have an X antibody underneath, whether it is the Garurumon or if it's just an X antibody, having that extra draw to and gaining a memory. So you're really, really hogging your turn very nicely with decks like this, and having these tech choices kind of sitting in here as well. So very cool to see Lord Nightmon being used here from BT19. And I know it's not a full-on Lord Nightmon deck, but it is nice to see these new cards still helping and building up these decks and making them a little bit stronger each time. So congrats, GT Gaming. Geno's 160 has a Merva purple hybrid. So again, purple hybrid has so many different ways it can run. And this one is just our Merva version. So, of course, we have the Duskmon and the Velgamon in there as part of the purple hybrid mode. But having the Merva with the play out there is also very nice. And, of course, the Jack Raid's always at 4. Kazeleomon is also a very nice card to have because you could delete a level 4 or lower on your opponent's side, whether it's on play or digivolving. and you have retaliation for both the inheritable and on its main thing as well, which is pretty cool. So that is that, which is pretty neat. So congrats there for Geno's 160. GFG Tyler has a Dark Masters version. Look at this. Back-to-back purple hybrids, but all of them are differently run. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here we can see that we're running a lot more of the Dark Masters in here. We're kind of building up those larger bodies to get to Apocalypse. So very interesting to, because once you get Apocalypse out, everything just goes crazy and it just tries to mill you out. So this is a very cool play style to see that purple hybrid is actually taking a mill style kind of way to go, which is pretty cool. So GFG Tyler, congratulations. And next up we have Brad Tyler, I hope I say that correctly, with a 7th grade Demon Lords. So again, we're starting to see that 7th grade Demon Lords. Ooh, Moon Millennia. Oh man, Moon Mill. If you haven't seen Moon Millenniumon yet, this is a pretty cool card to work with, where if your opponents have a lot of cards in their hand, they have to trash until they have 5 left, and then you essentially delete their tamers. So this card is very good against purple hybrid. When they have all their tamers out and they have a lot in their hand, it's just like, okay, Moon Millennial, you can trash all your tamers now, bye. Very cool tech card to have in there. Of course, you have your Ogudamon for win condition, Shine Gray Ruin mode, Shoto again, giving that blocker or piercing, depending on how you're planning to use it. Super cool. The Lucamon X antibody hiding in here as well for the 7th grade Demon Lords. Gotta have it in there, right? So awesome, and congratulations there to Brad Tiller or Tyler. Next up, we have Marky Fresh with a Mirage deck. So this Mirage is running the Gabu and Hexablau again. So we could see kind of, there's a couple different ways to play Mirage, but they aren't running the Vikemon, they are running the Zudamon. So they're kind of like a hybrid of the other 2 Mirage decks we've seen so far, which is pretty neat. So very cool to kind of check out and skim through to see the full moon meteor impact. There we go. The full moon meteor impact in there as well to help kind of remove large bodies off of your opponent's field. Always useful as well. And then trigger, of course, Mirage, because you're returning something back to their hand, and then Mirage triggers and it cycles very nicely. So Marky Fresh, congrats on your top 16. Freedom with Magna X. With a Quartz mod? With a Quartz mod? Oh, it's black. That's why. Got it. Took me a moment. Chat, I figured it out. Thank you, everybody in the comments who probably were furiously typing, Correspond can Digivolve off of a black card. Thank you. I appreciate you, because I just registered what it was. So, okay, that makes more sense now. So the Magna X, the Quartzmon. But, okay, but now, chat, comments, let me know. Does this mean that if Magnamon X has protection, does the Quartzmon also get protection? Because that's crazy. I have to figure that out. I'll have to look that up. But comments, if you know, let me know, because that'd be cool. Of course, Magna X is going to be running Blinding Ray, because that is their save when people don't hit securities to build up its protection. So very cool to see. The TK is interesting to have that yellow instead of... because a lot of people play like the Davis and Ken to get the VMons out a little bit better. But having that memory setter to just kind of grab yellow cards from your security is also kind of nice. So especially if like you have a Blinding Ray in your security, Blinding Rays don't usually do anything from your security. So it might be nice to grab those out of your security using the TKs, which is pretty cool. So awesome. Congratulations there, Freedom. Extra No Mayo on another Mirage deck. Is this the... Oh, BT13 Mirage. That's a cool choice there. I don't think I've seen that card officially before, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we got another Mirage hanging out in here, which is pretty neat. So yeah, I really thought Mirage was going to be like our top ones. Extra No Mayo, congrats on your top 16. And Kyle with another Fenril deck. We could see again, this one's running like without the deck stores. So this is a full, minus the Uko, of course, like a full doggo lineup and the Tyrannomon, of course. So good play there. And getting into top 16, bravo. What can I say? It's so cool to see that you all are working like this hard and you get kind of into those top 16s and top 32s. It's very cool. In our top 32s, on to the next group. We have Sack with a Mirage deck, or Sake. Sack or Sake. Congratulations. Another Mirage deck hanging out in here. This one is running the Imperial and Zudamon aces, which is pretty nice. Of course, we've got kind of our Thomases, but only 2 Thomases. So this one must be relying a lot more on building up your stack faster, not necessarily like bursting into your burst mode as often. So cool. Nice to see. John Rose with another Mirage. So here's where the Mirages are starting to come up. This one's running the Hexablau and Gabubon line there, which is pretty cool. And of course, we see that Mirage just hanging out in there, and 2 Thomases this time here, which is pretty cool. So awesome. And congratulations, John Rose, Nui and Kevin with the 3 Great Angels. What a deck. What a deck. This deck is chaotic. 3 Great Angels is like, I didn't think this was going to make it, and it did. And it's crazy how it works. But it seems like they got a lot of cool stuff in here. Of course, running the like Patamon engine to get into the Angemons or the Gatomons even is very cool. You can see the Floodgate of the Pillowmon, the aces galore with the Magna Ace and the Angemon, because again, you have to have your angels in a 3 Great Angels deck. And like seeing how this goes. And of course, Shadow Seraphi being treated as a 3 Great Angels there. So that ace is really good to play. And of course, Cherubi is a 3 Great Angel. So you've got some really nice plays in here that are sweet. And I believe, if I remember correctly, the Seraphi ace can go on top of the Seraphimon. So you could literally blast ace on top of your level 6, if I remember correctly, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, that's kind of a cool little tech to kind of keep in there, which is pretty neat to see. And of course, all the TKs galore, because you gotta run TKs, especially when they pair so well with the Patamons. So congrats, Nui and Kevin, for your 3 Great Angels deck. And then we have Angel running a Fenrir deck. Or we're on the doggy deck. So this is the FenriLoogamon version, which is pretty cool to see. It's some straightforward DNAing. And of course, ooh, is that the purple boost? Great memory boost, right? So this one's pretty cool too, because you can get some purple sources out of it, as well as some green sources, which then grabs your Kazuchimon very easily for this type of deck. So nice to see that that's being used as a searcher option in here for this type of deck, because you're always going to be grabbing a purple guaranteed, and of course the green with the Kazuchimon, which is pretty nice. So congrats, Angel, on your Fenrir deck. IDBW. I'm thinking it stands for something larger, but I'm not sure what it does. So if you know, let me know, because I'm curious. But IDBW with the Dexdoru deck. Woohoo! So we're seeing the Dexdoru line here finally, which is awesome. And of course, the Shine Gray tech still showing up in all forms of purple decks. What an awesome thing to see. So IDBW, congrats on your Dexdoru in your top 32. Jumping into Premium MSG, love the name. Rapidmon X made it to the top 32, which is so exciting because a lot of people really wanted this Rapidmon deck to exist, and look at it in the top 32 now. Cool to see. We could see, of course, some of the Lotmon is only at 1, but this is the Terriermon line for Rapidmon, which is very cool. So neat to see that it made it there. Congrats, Premium MSG. Calculator, another Magnamon X deck. This one is running the full Vmon line, or the Vmon into Flamedramon, into Magnamon, into Magna X. We can see that Bond of Friendship and Imperial Paladin mode Ace are both being run in here, as well as the Huangmon. A lot of people have been using this card in their Magna decks to basically make you undeletable. And of course, the inheritable of allowing your Magnamon X to swing, and it can't be blocked. So very, very awesome and neat to see. So congrats there, Calculator. Then we have Acevin 100 with another Magna X deck, running the Shine Gray Ruin Mode tech card. So of course it is yellow, so you can go into it. And this is with the Omni Blitz for game kind of thing. So very cool to have that Omnimon tech choice in there as well. And we can see the Davises in here for both Memory Setter and playing out a Vmon. The Ultimate Flare is a great thing to de-digivolve your opponent, so it's nice to see that. And of course, a lot of decks will run some Vinyl Zubagon Punch, because it does pack a punch for sure. So congrats there on Ace Spin 100. And then we have Panda with an Ancient Gray deck. We like Ancient Gray. Ancient Gray is kind of fun to play against. It's hard to map when it gets going because it's pretty quick and it deletes itself and then cycles and does all this cool stuff. So very, very awesome to see that there is an Ancient Gray deck sitting in there as well. Alex C also running a 7 Gray Demon Lords deck. So again, we're seeing this Demon Lords kind of sitting in here hanging out and then causing some ruckus. We also see this Porcupamon sitting in here. I always feel like I say that wrong because I'm thinking Porcupine and then it like stops midway. But that's also in here too, which deletes, I believe, a level 3 Digimon. So good for stopping your opponent from building, which is nice. And of course, the regular standard lineup of things hiding out in here, which is pretty cool. So congrats on your top 32, Alex C. Umblum with the Imperial coming in here. We haven't seen an Imperial deck yet, which this thing was taking over a while back. It was taking over everything. So neat to see that it is still present. It is still causing some trouble, but it is pretty cool to see. And it is running the Death X tech as a choice there, which really kind of helps deal with wide boards and managing them a little bit better. And of course, your Pyldramons having that partition now is super, super strong. And being able to have it not only as its own card, but as an inheritable can really help you rebuild everything back up very quickly. So awesome to see that Imperial is sitting here as well. Umblum, congrats on your top 32. Goose of Legends, also with a 3 Great Angel deck. We can see this one's running a lot heavier on the aces. In fact, we have Magna, Angelomon, Cherubi, Shadow Seraphi, and Ophanimon. So that's 5 aces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 aces it's running, which is quite a bit. So this is a very like ace, like play into me. I will just evolve. Very cool to see the aggression on it. And of course, the Venusmon sitting in here too, even though it is not technically a 3 Great Angel. It is a great yellow card to play in a yellow deck to really slow your opponent down because then they can't swing if they have no security for the turn. Super awesome. And of course, Diminimon with the protection ability to prevent all of your angels from being removed from the field is pretty cool. So congrats, Goose of Legend, on your 3 Great Angels deck. Then we have Brel with the 7 Great Demon Lords again here. So we can see kind of a similar run to the previous one we saw, except they're running the Moon Millennial tech and of course the Shine Gray tech, which I think we've talked about before. So very, very neat to see there. Congratulations, Brel. Then we have, I'm hoping I don't say this incorrectly, Jai Exios. I apologize if I've said that incorrectly, with the 3 Great Angels deck hanging out again. So it's so interesting to see 7 Great Demon Lords and 3 Great Angels kind of in the same format and just proving how powerful they can actually be, with, of course, 7 Great Demon Lords being, I'm guessing, a bit faster maybe, or a little bit more challenging to combat against. So curious to see how those kind of line up with each other in the long run, and maybe if 3 Great Angels gets more support there, maybe the 3 Great Angels will be able to like surpass 7 Great Demon Lords. I don't know. Yellow is pretty strong though, so I don't know if it really needs extra support, but we'll find out in a future event, I guess. Ja Exios, congratulations on your 3 Great Angels deck. We're almost done. Crispy Ruegos in the Mirage. I hope I said that correctly. Congratulations. Mirage is still hanging in there and having a good time. This again, we're running that BT13 Mirage as well here, which is pretty cool. So that's still sitting in there with some floodgates, and it's kind of like a little bit mix of everything we've been seeing. So congratulations on your top 32. And then we have Knock with 3 Great Angels having a good time. Yeah, 3 Great Angels is a pretty good deck to be running. The Edamon is so strong. This is such a good card. I'm using it in Syndril currently, and it is a great card to like either hard play or digivolve and give your opponent a forced swing, and then it just sets you up so beautifully for your aces. It is a wonderful card to play against. So very, very cool to see the 3 Great Angels hanging out. And that basically covers everything. So we can see our top 16 lineup here and how they kind of moved forward from their wins to the final of Onion being our champion for this Nationals. But with that, I hope you all enjoyed this overall thing. Eggman events, thank you so much for always putting these out, whether it's you or Risu. I appreciate it, and all of your time that you put into this. It is awesome, and thanks for letting me go over it, as always. For those of you who are watching this video, thank you for being here. Thank you for checking out and listening to me blab about some cards and share some of my thoughts on stuff. But I appreciate all of you for being here. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I'm Curiosity. I cover a lot of Digimon stuff. And yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. I will be back to regular programming for streaming on Sundays because now we are finally back from Orlando. When I got back, I was just way too tired. So we will be back to this Sunday streaming. So keep an eye out for it. And I'll be sure to do some Digimon because I want to test Syndrel. I need to test Mastemon. And I believe EX8 comes out this week. So if you're getting some EX8 stuff, we gotta play. So it should be so much fun. I'm hoping my stuff comes in on time, if not early, so I can actually start playing it. I'm so excited. And I have a ton of locals I'm in because I need to get my Shushimons because those are the new participation, like one of the cards you can get in participation. And that Shushimon is so good for Syndrel. So I'm looking forward to play testing with it against everybody and anyone, and it's going to be a good time. But other than that, I am going to sign off for today, and I will see you all at the either next stream or the next video. So be sure to check out my stuff. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, like, come find me on Twitch, come find me on YouTube, wherever works for you. All right. Have a great day, everybody.